There was a man who smoked for over 20 years. He tried everything to quit: nicotine patches, therapy, prescription meds, cold turkey, even hypnosis. He spent thousands of dollars and years of his life fighting this one habit. Nothing worked. Then, on a work trip to Japan, he met an elderly monk who taught him something that changed everything. Within 3 months, he quit smoking completely. Not through force, not through willpower, not through fighting himself. The monk showed him a completely different way, a way that felt almost too easy to be real. And that raises an uncomfortable question. What if everything you've been taught about breaking bad habits is backwards? What if the very act of fighting your habits is actually what gives them power? What if there were a way for habits to fade naturally, without exhausting discipline, without constant self-control, without the endless cycle of trying, failing, and starting over? The Japanese have understood something about human nature that the West is only beginning to rediscover. They don't see habits as enemies to defeat. They don't believe in using force against yourself. Instead, they've developed a gentle system that works with the mind, not against it. And the results speak for themselves. The problem with force. Look at how we approach change in the West. Every January, we join gyms with brutal workout plans, only to quit by February. We delete social media in a dramatic digital detox, only to reinstall it days later. We make massive promises, set impossible standards, and then feel ashamed when, predictably, we fall short. We think failure means we're weak. But the Japanese approach starts from a completely different idea. Instead of seeing habits as enemies, they see them as patterns that once had a purpose. Every habit, even destructive ones, began as a solution to something. When you understand this, everything changes. The monk and the anger. There was once a Japanese monk who struggled with anger. Small irritations would build all day until he finally exploded at his students. He tried to control it. Long meditation sessions, mantras, fasting, nothing worked. In fact, the harder he fought his anger, the stronger it became. One day, an older monk gave him simple advice. Stop trying to get rid of your anger. Become curious about it. Watch it the way you'd watch clouds pass across the sky. Notice when it appears, where it lives in your body, what thoughts come with it. But don't judge it, and don't fight it. When anger arose, instead of suppressing it, he quietly labeled it anger. He noticed the heat in his chest, the tight jaw, the thoughts about how things should be different, and something unexpected happened. Within weeks, the anger began to lose its grip. He could feel anger without being controlled by it. This idea sits at the heart of the Japanese approach. They understand something simple yet powerful. Nothing lasts forever. Not emotions, not urges, not cravings. When you truly understand this, habits lose their authority. But most people treat cravings like emergencies. The Japanese offer a third option. Acknowledge the craving. Feel it fully, but don't act on it. Sit with it the way you'd sit with a friend who's upset. Present, but not reactive. The 10-minute rule. A businessman in Tokyo used this method to quit smoking after 20 years. He didn't throw away his cigarettes. He kept them right on his desk. Then he'd set a timer for 10 minutes. If I still want it when the timer ends, I can smoke. During those 10 minutes, he didn't distract himself. He didn't fight the craving. He simply observed it. He noticed the craving peaked around 3 minutes, then slowly weakened. This wasn't willpower. It was understanding the nature of cravings. Kaizen. Why small wins change everything. The Japanese also live by a principle called Kaizen, continuous small improvement. Western culture loves dramatic transformations. We want overnight change, total reinvention, a new identity by next Monday. Kaizen takes the opposite approach, change 1% at a time. But the brain doesn't change through force. Habit pathways are built over years. A shopping addiction solution, a woman in Kyoto used Kaizen to overcome compulsive shopping. She waited one day before buying anything online. 6 months later, she waited a full week and rarely wanted the items anymore. Why did this work? Because tiny changes don't trigger the brain's alarm system. Big changes feel like danger. Small changes slip under the radar. No panic, no rebellion, no burnout. Finding the real need. Another key idea is Ikigai, your reason for being. Many habits survive because they fill an emotional gap. We drink to unwind. We scroll to escape boredom. We overeat to soothe loneliness. If you remove the habit without addressing the need underneath, something else will rush in to replace it. A programmer who drank every night realized he wasn't addicted to alcohol. He was addicted to the transition, the ritual that separated work from personal life. Once he understood that, he built a new ritual: comfortable clothes, hot tea, 10 minutes of sketching, something he loved as a kid. As this ritual grew stronger, alcohol faded naturally. Self-compassion, the missing piece. In the West, we use shame as motivation. We call ourselves weak, lazy, broken. But shame doesn't create change. It creates rebellion. One part of you becomes the critic. Another becomes the defiant child. They fight endlessly. The Japanese approach emphasizes self-compassion. When you slip up, you respond with curiosity, not cruelty. A teacher with emotional eating patterns learned this after years of dieting. Every failure triggered harsh self-talk, which led to more eating. When she replaced shame with observation, patterns became visible. Loneliness, work stress, money anxiety. Once she addressed the real causes, the habit lost its grip. You don't break habits, you outgrow them. The Japanese understand this deeply. You don't break habits, you grow beyond them, like a tree growing around a fence until the fence no longer matters. Habits are like paths through a forest. The more you walk one path, the clearer it becomes. You don't erase the old path, you build a new one. Walk it often enough, and it becomes the easy choice. The simple morning shift. A man addicted to social media didn't delete his apps. He placed a book next to his bed. Every morning, instead of grabbing his phone, he read one page. One page felt effortless. Soon, one page became 10, then 30. Scrolling wasn't forced away, it was replaced. The path forward. The Japanese approach to change isn't about domination, it's about alignment. You're not fighting yourself, you're listening. The habit you want to break isn't your enemy, it's a message. And when you learn to listen instead of fight, change happens naturally.